This program lineup is brought to you by Vision Express.
NBC's Wednesday primetime lineup comes into focus with Vision Express. Fast, fashionable, focused.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvil's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano. Cars Plus starts something new sales event going on now with up to 20% off on Jeep Gladiators. Get to Cars Plus today. And McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime, Governor Lulian Guerrero is ready to give her 2025 State of the Island address. KUAM has special coverage with team reporting ahead of the annual speech.
How will the governor outline Guam's path forward during a time of federal uncertainty? I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with what senators hope to hear from her tonight.
And the community offering their input and expectations for the Magahaga's address to the island.
We can measure the current state of our island by how much trust people have in their leaders. We can measure the state of our island by how safe people feel in their homes, on their streets, and in their daily activities. While we remain confident, my fiscal team is keeping a close watch on the situation, preparing for all possibilities and monitoring the economic impacts of this new threat. But we know that minimum wage workers are not a part of that threat. COVID-19 stole a year from us, but it could not steal who we are for one another. Even now, I ask that we take a moment of silence to honor those 133 lives cut short by this virus. And no one in this room or within the sound of my voice needs a long list of statistics to remind us of what we lost. While healthcare systems around the world collapsed, Josh and I made hard choices. 4 years ago, I came here confident that if we worked together, if we rose above the vicious score keeping of everyday politics, then we could solve all problems, do big things, and renew the promise of our great island. Madam Speaker, thanks to the unrelenting health of our faith of our people, thanks to those who believe in Guam, I am proud to report that the state of our island is strong and our future is bright.
Hafidades and buenas noches. Bienvenido para KUAM News Primetime. Guahu Sinik Delgado.
Sa Guahu si Destiny Cruz Langas, si Zeus Maasi Puri Manyanyo Mizu Guini na programa.
Well, you just saw the past 6 years under the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration, snippets of our Magahaga addressing the island in her annual State of the Island address. The first term was filled with pandemic issues.
Her second term began with a major storm, Typhoon Mawar, leaving Guam devastated, with many to this day still in recovery. You are watching a special edition of KUAM News Primetime. We are only half an hour early to be able to bring you the news and live coverage of the governor's address. Adeline telling us Governor Lourdes A. Leon Guerrero will outline Guam's path forward. This year's address will focus on the continued momentum of her economic recovery, efforts to ease the cost of living for working families, progress in housing and healthcare, and the challenges posed by federal uncertainty. The front office also sharing that the community can expect bold, future-focused proposals aimed at strengthening our island and improving the quality of life for all. KUAM has team coverage of the governor's address. We recently asked her about what she plans to tell the island. Take a listen.
Are you able to give us anything on your State of the Island address? Anything that you hope to...
Yes, come and listen.
What is your biggest priority that you want to address?
Of course, tourism and recovery of the tourists. Of course, the hospital is always my top priority. And then how do we deal with issues and decisions made by the federal government?
The governor's address comes a couple of weeks after she returned from her trip to Washington, D.C. Governor Leon Guerrero there testified before the Department of Interior's Interagency Group on Insular Affairs 2025 session, urging federal leaders to prioritize investments in Guam's healthcare and housing infrastructure.
In her testimony, Governor Leon Guerrero also underscoring the pressing need for a modern medical campus to support both civilian and military populations. She highlighted how COVID-19 exposed critical gaps in healthcare infrastructure, leaving Guam's only public hospital unprepared for mass casualty events. She even called on federal support, stating that a state-of-the-art facility is essential to ensuring healthcare security for Guam and the region. Each among the topics the Magahaga says will be mentioned in her address tonight.
And what pressing concerns and triumphs will Governor Leon Guerrero address during her 7th State of the Island address? Her speech comes at a time of uncertainty, from sweeping federal policies to a milestone half a decade in recovery from a global crisis and much more. Lawmakers on both sides of the party have been among her biggest critics and advocates the past year. Mitsuki Hirayama finds out what senators hope to hear during her first address to a Republican majority.
From concerning directives from the White House to criticisms from the People's House, how will the governor outline Guam's path forward during a time of uncertainty? Senators sounding off on what they hope to hear the Magahaga address here tonight.
Senator Therese Terlahi, the former speaker, wants to hear about the governor's backup plan to deal with federal funding cuts.
I think we're all going to want to hear, that people will want to hear also that what are the plans for if these Trump cuts come to fruition and we are impacted, especially on those critical services for Guam, such as Medicaid or Medicare or Social Security.
The financial concern includes capital improvement for the Guam Memorial Hospital.
Because the ARP money was removed from the hospital and they had really been trying to build the maternal child health ward and the NICU, the neonatal ICU. What are the plans to build that now?
This as the governor is facing legal troubles with the Attorney General over pandemic funds for her Mangilao Hospital. And while it's Leon Guerrero's 7th State of the Island address, it will be her first one before a Republican majority.
There's still a lot of uncertainty with regard to what she had stated she was going to be doing and the things that are happening right now. I'm still waiting to see what she wants to be able to do. Things haven't changed.
Top of mind for Speaker Frank Blas Jr. is economic recovery. Today marks the 5-year anniversary since the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak a global pandemic.
Obviously, our tourism industry is still down. Military buildup is still strong, but it's not going to last long. So what are we doing in place of our economic recovery and rejuvenation?
For Health Committee Chair Senator Sabrina Salas Matanani,
her plans for the economy, affordable housing, addressing the high cost of living, homeless, and more importantly, healthcare.
Senator Tina Barnes also expects to hear updates on the governor's plans for the new hospital and
more importantly, our kids need a house up at Simon Sanchez, what the status of that is going to be, and what other programs has she brought from her meetings in D.C.
Meantime, the governor has not been shy about pushing forward with her goals, so we can expect a bold State of the Island address. Mitsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
And in her last address, Governor Leon Guerrero declared that the state of our island is strong and our future is bright.
But is that how residents feel 1 year later? KUAM getting the pulse of the community ahead of her 7th State of the Island address tonight.
What would you say the state of the island is?
It's pretty good.
Can be better.
Terrible. They need to fix it up much better.
From satisfied to frustrated, residents sharing the issues they hope Governor Leon Guerrero will touch on as she's set to deliver her 4th State of the Island address Wednesday night.
For Harmon resident Jessica Scharf, education is a pressing issue, as the Guam Department of Education is set to close one school by year's end as part of its maximization efforts in their financial state.
Well, final preparations are complete at the Guam Congress building. Crews have been working to set the stage for the governor's speech and to reflect on our island's heritage.
Nevaeh Anderson has more on the finishing touches and security measures in place for the event.
The Guam Congress building is more than just a venue tonight. It's a tribute to our island's resilience. In celebration of Mes Chamorro, symbols of Chamorro culture from proas to ladystones line the entrance, lawn, and main hall, reflecting the strength of our people as we continue to rebuild from the COVID-19 pandemic and Typhoon Mawar. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero is expected to highlight that same resilience and strength as she lays out a path forward in her address. And while the focus tonight is on the future, securing the building remains a top priority.
As you can see behind me, preparations are complete ahead of the governor's State of the Island address tonight. Crews have set up chairs and the security teams have conducted a full sweep of the building to ensure everything goes smoothly ahead of tonight's event.
Security of the perimeter, but I'm not going to get into the details to compromise any other security measures. But of course, we'll make sure that all our visitors and dignitaries are in good hands for their safety.
Guam Police Department Chief Stephen Ignacio confirming with KUAM that GPD is leading security efforts in coordination with the legislators team. About 60 invited guests, including island leaders and dignitaries, are expected to be in attendance. With the final details in place, the stage is set for Governor Lou Leon Guerrero to deliver her vision for Guam's future, one built on resilience, economic strength, and improving quality of life for all. Nevaeh Anderson, KUAM News.
Tonight, immediately following KUAM News Primetime, your news leader brings you live coverage from the 2025 State of the Island Address.
Stick with us as we begin coverage of Governor Lou Leon Guerrero's annual speech. It's being brought to you with special thanks to our partners at PBS Guam. The Governor's State of the Island Address is being held at the Guam Congress Building in Hagåtña.
Don't go anywhere. Up next, more local news.
You're watching KUAM.
In here, you can expect to find crystal clear audio, expansive display space, endless entertainment, and more comfort for everyone. But even with all that, we still left room for all the unpredictability, spontaneity, and unexpected things you'll find out here. The new 2024 Grand Cherokee lineup. Jeep, there's only one.
Leaving my phone and bush cutter outside. What's gonna happen? Oh, yeah. Oh, take it. Come on, bro. It's free, bro. Yo, bro. Just take it.
Looking to ditch your old phone?
Take it.
Trade into Guam's most reliable network and get an extra $300 off the latest phones on any unlimited plan. GTA, we start with you.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
NBC's Wednesday primetime lineup comes into focus with Vision Express. Fast, fashionable, focused.
KUAM TVH. First on
Le dije, vamos a hacer maldades. Vuelvo yo te traje. Pago ya el mahones si no baila pa' que sale. Aquí están mis anormales. Tú mueves ese nalga. Esto es pa' las nenas nuevas, pa' los nenes, pa' las viejas.
The Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority Board of Commissioners unanimously passed some important resolutions to aid in administering $500 million in federal disaster recovery funds. GURA got approval to hire 40 new temporary full-time employees for a 6-year period for the $500.8 million Community Development Block Grant Program. GURA Executive Director Elizabeth Napoli will have the authority to approve above step pay up to step 10. That means starting salary higher than the standard entry-level pay. In addition, Deputy Director Fernando Esteves is officially the grant manager of the block grant program, increasing his salary to a total $120,000 through the funds.
So far, GORA has submitted an administrative action plan, which will give them access to 5% of the award, or $25 million for admin costs. They are currently in phase 1, or the development of the unmet needs assessment. This involves the stakeholders and community briefings and feedback on how to best utilize the funds. Those town hall meetings start next week. Meantime, briefings with civil defense and the legislature have been scheduled. An important public service announcement from Docomo Pacific. The telecoms company offering some important tips to stop AI-driven scam calls targeting our Manamku. Here's a list of warning signs to look out for. The company stating they are deeply committed to protecting customers from emerging fraud tactics and want to warn consumers about a troubling trend in which scammers use artificial intelligence to replicate the voices of family members and close relatives to solicit money, with a disturbing focus on our elders.
Yeah, Docomo Pacific also including consumer protection tips. The company highlighting that in a recent indictment, 25 Canadian nationals were charged with orchestrating a scam that impacted elderly communities across more than 40 states. Moreover, advanced AI tech now enables scammers to clone the voices of loved ones, further complicating the efforts to detect fraudulent calls. Again, they hope this will help protect community members from falling victim to these sophisticated scams. They urge all customers, especially the Manamku, to exercise caution, verify any unexpected communications. For additional info or assistance, call their customer service team at 671-688-CARE on Guam or 670-488-CARE in the CNMI. Now to a follow-up on the arrest of former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte. Supporters rallying outside the airbase where the firebrand former leader was being held on Tuesday after he was arrested at the request of the International Criminal Court. Authorities scaling up security with dozens of police guarding the Villamor airbase, where Duterte's supporters had gathered and chanted slogans. Duterte was served an Interpol arrest warrant on his arrival at Manila's main airport and was in custody. The office of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. saying in a statement on Tuesday, Duterte questioned why he was being arrested.
So, what is the law and what is the crime that I committed? Show to me now the legal basis for my being here. As apparently I was brought here not of my own volition. It's somebody else's. Kung hindi ibang tao, ikaw siguro, because this is your structure. So you have to answer now for the deprivation of liberty.
The arrest follows years of Duterte taunting the ICC since he unilaterally withdrew the Philippines from the court's founding treaty in 2019, as it started looking into allegations of systematic extrajudicial killings on his watch. Well, according to the CDC, more than 2,000 deaths were linked to COVID-19 last month.
That, of course, is a far cry from the monthly peak of more than 100,000 in January of 2021. But it is a somber reminder, 5 years after the World Health Organization first declared the global pandemic. For Guam, 5 years ago, we saw a lockdown and major changes being made to people's lives across the island.
And prior to any vaccine or any confirmed cases, this time 5 years ago, the island also did experience a scare, and medical experts immediately investigated potential positive cases for coronavirus. This time 5 years ago, there was also so much uncertainty. Take a look at this clip from a KUAM News primetime newscast from March 12, 2020.
Now that public health has the ability to conduct testing for coronavirus results, they've been returned in less than 24 hours for the 2 persons under investigation, and they are negative for COVID-19.
It wasn't until 3 days after that newscast that the government of Guam confirmed the first positive COVID-19 case on island.
Guam re-recorded its first COVID-related death 7 days after that first confirmed case.
Well, 22 months since the Chief Kapua statue was knocked down by the strong winds of Typhoon Mawar, the replacement statue now up in Hagåtña. It's covered up for now until government officials hold a dedication ceremony to unveil the new statue.
Adalib confirming this effort is part of a rehabilitation project coordinated by the Office of the Governor and the Lieutenant Governor of Guam, the Island Beautification Task Force, the Department of Parks and Recreation, and Senator Sabrina Salas Matanani to restore the statue following damage from Typhoon Mawar. This restoration is also made possible through the collaboration of public and non-governmental partners, including the Guam Contractors Association, Guam Chamber of Commerce, Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association, Chinese Chamber of Commerce, Smith Bridge, and Pacific Federal Management and GMSI. Again, details on the formal dedication ceremony will be announced soon. Well, the Guam Department of Corrections is getting some much-needed help for the prison. 14 new correctional officers were welcomed to the team. A graduation ceremony was held at the Riga Royal Resort in Tamuning Wednesday morning.
Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio gave remarks. DepCorp Cadre Joey Pakaigi was the keynote speaker. Multiple island dignitaries also attending the ceremony. The new batch is sure to assist the prison with its current manpower shortages. This as the prison population continues to increase. Congratulations to the new correctional officers. Well, for 109 years, the Guam chapter of the American Red Cross has been a beacon of hope in times of crisis. And to celebrate these heroes, Lieutenant Governor proclaiming March as American Red Cross Month to highlight their ongoing mission to provide compassionate assistance to communities in need. Guam ARC Board Chairman Marcos Chairman Marcos Fong gives his remarks.
At the heart of a Red Cross are the extraordinary volunteers, many of whom are here today. Selfless individuals who donate their time, energy, and expertise to make a profound difference in our community. Whether it's responding to typhoons, comforting families displaced by disasters, or teaching preparedness classes, these heroes embody the spirit of service that defines the Red Cross. Their dedication ensures that our community remains strong and connected, even in the face of adversity. Today, we also have an opportunity to celebrate them and their invaluable contributions to that mission.
Fong also emphasized ARC's important partnership with GovGuam, through which they were able to coordinate disaster preparedness initiatives, collaborate on emergency response plans, and work to build a more resilient community. A longtime musician and public servant Chris Carrillo is battling liver failure, and his only chance at survival is a transplant. With time running out, his family is searching for a miracle.
Jonagan Charfaris has more on how you can help.
I see.
For years, Chris Carrillo's voice has filled venues as part of the local band Biga and Beta, bringing joy to the people of Guam. But today that voice is fighting to be heard in a different way, through a plea for help. For those who may not know him, Chris's wife, Aina Carrillo, says despite his big stature, he's such a big teddy bear.
He loves his community. He works in Medicaid and Medicare, and he's been serving the people of Guam for 20 years. You know, he's worked behind the scenes in the legislature and now at public health. He's helped so many people with fundraisers. I can't even tell you how many fundraisers he played at.
Aina says it was late last year. He was diagnosed with liver cirrhosis.
It's unreal that, you know, things can happen this fast and you can go from feeling like totally normal. And he was just at our gala like in November, having, you know, a great time playing music, and then, you know, to now where we're here in Manila, you know, we just got out of the ICU like late last night, and so now we're in a regular room, but, you know, he was suffering from liver failure last week.
Chris was rushed to the ICU last Wednesday after suffering multiple organ failure. Though he has shown signs of improvement, his doctors say his liver is too damaged to recover without a transplant. He's being treated in the Philippines, where he's not eligible to be placed on the transplant list because he is a non-citizen. His family is now racing against time, exploring every possible option to save his life. There was a possible donor, one of Chris's best friends and bandmates, Kevin Iwashita.
As the transplant team was assessing Kevin, they ruled him out because he had some health issues. Started to do all the tests on me, but, you know, they just found out like Friday right before this whole incident that my liver was just not enough. It's like 200 grams. Too small.
The next possible plan was to do a dual graft, where two donors, in this case Aina and her sister, would give portions of their liver to create one for Chris.
The issue now is that they don't have the facility to do it. You need to have 3 ORs running at the same time. And, you know, I mean, if you can just imagine, you know, like Chris has to go through his surgery and they have to time it just right. And then they take the 2 donors and they go into surgery and then they take their livers, put it together. And then, you know, it's a lot for here. It has to be done in Korea. And so we're doing all the workups here so that we can just go to Korea and get the transplant. But I don't, it's very, very risky.
The best option for the better outcome would be a single liver donor.
The criteria they're looking for is somebody under 60, ideally a man who is bigger than I am, with A positive blood type, or even O positive will work. But, you know, someone who's fairly healthy, doesn't do any drugs, healthy liver, you know, like, and bigger than I am. Here in the Philippines, they only allow transplants for a family up to 4 different generations.
However, if the person can show proof of some sort of emotional connection to Chris, it can be approved.
It's a long shot, but it's our only shot.
You can reach out to Ina via WhatsApp at 671-727-5123 to learn more about the process on how you could be a potential donor. A GoFundMe campaign is underway to help cover medical expenses and transplant costs. Just search Strumming Back to Health, Chris Carrillo.
We just really need help, you know, and it's hard for us to ask. Chris is not the type of person that likes to ask for help, you know. We tried to keep this very private a lot of times, but at this point, you know, like, we have no options, and we are hoping that somebody in the community with an emotional connection to Chris can help, you know, like, what else? I don't know what else to do.
Every donation, every prayer, every share of his story brings him one step closer to a second chance at life.
We're so thankful for all the prayers and all the messages that are coming in, and it's like, there's so many messages, I can't even reply to all of them. And I know that the island, like, people on Guam are praying for us, and that's all really we can ask for, you know, is to send good vibes and pray. It's hard to sit in a room with your husband and talk about, like, what could happen.
Jonagan Charfris, KUAM News.
Now for your world at home.
Here's a view captured from Dedado.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
New year, new me. A year of possibilities starts now, and it all begins at Kmart. From health to home, we got everything you need to start fresh and thrive in the new year. Kickstart healthy habits with pantry essentials and nutritious options for your family. Keep your home sparkling with cleaning solutions designed to make life easier and fresher. Looking to crush your fitness goals? Find workout gear and activewear to get you moving. Need to revamp your style? Check out our newest apparel for the whole family. And for the heart of your home, discover appliances and home goods to make your life easier and more comfortable. Busy families, moms on the go, and everyone in between. Kmart is here for you. A fresh start is just one shopping trip away. Kmart. New year, new me, a year of possibilities. Find it all at Kmart.
Are you tired of standing in long lines waiting to ship out or send out packages? GU Mail is here for you. Visit their friendly staff in Harmon next to McDonald's. We offer private mailbox service with package notification via email or WhatsApp. Shipping from DHL, FedEx, UPS, and USPS. We also offer shipping and freight service, packaging supplies, printing, and copy available. GU Mail, here for your convenience.
Hey, I got the job. So I can go part-time. Yes!
Some days bring new opportunities. First Hawaiian Bank can help you say yes to making the most of them. Manage your accounts, earn cash back, and when you need advice, we're here for you.
We should really get him into an art program.
No matter where your journeys take you, you can bank on the best. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
Now, for a limited time, get our largest pizza at our lowest price. Just $9.99 for our classic New York-style pizza. It's 30% larger than our large, and at only $9.99 for carryout. Don't wait. Order now at your Island Pizza Hut.
Superspeed your life with Docomo Pacific Fiber Internet. Get symmetrical upload and download speeds up to 5 gigs. Get started with Fiber 500 at $145 a month, Fiber 1 gig at $215 a month, or Fiber 5 gig at $299 a month. Plus, get 2 SuperPod 6Es with any plan, and a free EcoFlow River 3 and bonus welcome kit with 1 gig and 5 gig plans. Experience tomorrow's islands today with Docomo Pacific Fiber Internet.
Give me back
Try double filet sandwich for double the flavor. Just in time for Lent for a limited time. Served all day.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
New year, new me. A year of possibilities starts now, and it all begins at Kmart. From health to home, we got everything you need to start fresh and thrive in the new year. Kickstart healthy habits with pantry essentials and nutritious options for your family. Keep your home sparkling with cleaning solutions designed to make life easier and fresher. Looking to crush your fitness goals? Find workout gear and activewear to get you moving. Need to revamp your style? Check out our newest apparel for the whole family. And for the heart of your home, discover appliances and home goods to make your life easier and more comfortable. Busy families, moms on the go, here for you. A fresh start is just one shopping trip away. Kmart. New year, new me, a year of possibilities. Find it all at Kmart.
Feeling the love. Special Olympics track and field meet on the 29th over at Ukudu High's track and field up in Dededo. Please come out, please support, and please show your love, feel the love, and share the love. Celebrating Chamorro Month, make sure to catch Something to Call Our Own, a Chamorro dance story. It is happening at the Micronesia Mall Theater every Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Kids ages 3 and 11 and seniors 55 are just $8. General admission 11. And make sure to celebrate Chamorro Month. Check out the exclusive film screening of Healers featuring Zoamthi Francis Meno. It's on Friday at 6 p.m. Please donate at least $25 to the proceeds will benefit Ms. Meno for cancer treatment. All right, that's your news bites.
Now for your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shoutouts,
which you can submit on KUAM.com.
Valerie Meno, you are today's lone birthday celebrant. Nothing wrong with that. That means you have the spotlight all to yourself. So, happy birthday to Mon and Gigi. We appreciate you and love you for all you do for us. Obviously, this coming from a very, very adoring family. So, Valerie, have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. We hope you had something great to eat. We hope you celebrate tonight. We hope you get a nice break from work or chores or whatever. And we hope you have an absolutely blessed birthday today. We celebrate you.
Estigi Mizu Primetime Show si Zuosma si put energa Guahusinik Dogaro.
Guahusi Destiny Cruz Lingus Nafan Safu Hamzu Gose Ipoingi.
KUAM's live coverage of the 2025 State of the Island Address starts now.
This program lineup is brought to you by Vision Express.
NBC's Wednesday primetime lineup comes into focus with Vision Express. Fast, fashionable, focused.
KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
Thanks for sticking with us. You're watching KUAM News' special live coverage from Governor Lulian Guerrero's 2025 State of the Island Address. Thanks to our partners at PBS Guam, Guahu, Sinik Delgado.
So Guahu, si Destiny Cruz Lingus. Now it's been a busy day down in the island capital of Hagåtña. The crowd centered around the Guam Congress building for the Magahaga's annual address to the people.
Yeah, Des, and we're seeing right now that it looks like the governor and First Gentleman Jeff Cook just walked into the session hall there in the Guam Congress building. She's already met with the Speaker Frank Voss Jr., the senators, and all of the dignitaries, right, including government and military, all standing and getting ready to hear what the governor has to say.
Yeah, definitely a full house in there right now.
Yeah, we did get the address embargoed prior to coming on to bring you the special coverage, and we want to bring you some of that right now before the governor is set to take the podium. It says, and after years, or rather, our debts are paid. Our finances are stronger. Payless paydays are a thing of the past. Mr. Speaker, it is in recognition of these facts that I am happy to report Guam is good. but we will not stop until it is better.
Some bold statements there, definitely. And you know, KUAM has been keeping up and providing coverage. We did ask the governor herself what she hopes to tackle with her State of the Island address, and key topics that she really wanted to pinpoint was federal funding. We do understand that there's been some uncertainty with changes coming down from the Trump administration. So among her biggest fears that she did mention was federal funds for Medicaid, SNAP, child care, veteran services, food assistance, and Social Security. So again, we do have the embargoed copy of her speech tonight, and she will be addressing federal stability. So just to read off from what the governor is slated to address, she did mention right here, she just said that she wants to be clear, and this is from the governor, Guam cannot be the linchpin of American security in the Asia Pacific if nearly 14,000 of our residents are without shelter because housing aid to Guam is cut. So again, really touching on those concerns. She also addressed Medicaid, SNAP, Social Security, and of course we do understand that this ties in with our funding for schools. So I'm really eager to hear as she expounds a little bit more.
Right, and including with cuts, she did mention cutting taxes for small businesses, that they play a vital role in just our island's economy. But something that's very important is our #1 industry, tourism, and in it, her speech notes a plan to restore tourism. She notes right now flights to Guam nearly full. That's a good thing. Saying this proves the demand exists, but to capitalize on it, we must expand airline access. And so she pretty much concludes that area saying that is why we must invest today, not just to recover, but to ensure that when conditions improve, Guam is the first choice to travelers where they're looking to spend. And of course, you know, the Guam Visitors Bureau Board of Directors, they had just selected, and now she has Regine Biscoli to be the next president and CEO of GVB. She's accepted and started this week. That recovery plan is now in motion, and now it's a matter of what happens next.
Right, and you know, it's very interesting to see these solutions coming forth now, because as you may recall, KUAM did report that there were dozens of tourism stakeholders who did say that, you know, the island's tourism industry was in some sort of a crisis. So I'm interested to see her address that as well. And another point that we know she's definitely going to talk about is the hospital. It's something that she did touch base on. The University of Guam did welcome the groundbreaking of a DPHSS lab, and the governor was not shy about the fact that she is, you know, hoping that the hospital will be built down the street.
Yeah, she did mention that as well at the EOG Charter Day Fest. So Manila's center focused. She's really laser focused on making sure that Manila has a hospital there for the southern community. And one thing to note here, she calls out not just Attorney General Doug Moylan, but also Congressman James Moylan. She calls this part of the speech that she's going to present the plan, saying, first, Congressman Moylan, we need your help. We need more workers. This, right, she's speaking in regards to H-2B workers. She say are tied exclusively to federally contracted work. So she's asking on our Guam delegate, saying we need to amend the federal law to include civilian projects, so things that are outside of the base. Secondly, she says we need to make federal investments work for local families. Billions are flowing into military construction, but none of it is federally set aside for affordable housing. And on that note, she also definitely touches on homelessness and the efforts that the administration has been touting to try and build shelters for our homeless population, especially the women and children in need.
Definitely, and while on that topic, she did mention studies did show trauma were linked to that. Oh, and we do see the governor taking the podium right now.
Let's get to that.
Mayor's Council, Jesse Alec, Rear Admiral Brent DeVore, mayors and vice mayors, my first gentleman, Jeff Cook, distinguished guests, family, friends, and my dear people of Guam. Tonight, we gather at a pivotal moment in our history, a time when the winds of change are shifting, not just in Washington, D.C. or across the Pacific, but in free markets and boardrooms around the globe. Turn on the news, scroll through TikTok, everywhere you look, things feel a little less certain than they did before. And yet, this is not the first time Guam has faced an uncertain world. Mr. Speaker, it has been 23 years since a governor from my party addressed a legislative majority from yours. And while that is notable in its own right, I stand here in recognition of something far greater, just how far we have come in that time. At the end of 2002, typhoons Pongsangwa and Chataan had only recently torn through our island, leaving homes in ruins and families in the dark. The Asian financial crisis and the trauma of 911 gutted our tourism industry. Jobs disappeared, businesses shuttered, and choices made in the 90s, thousands of miles from here, meant the US military continued to scale back as our economy crumbled. Then came the payless paydays, soaring deficits, bounced checks, and borrowing not to build or invest, but to pay tax refunds and stay afloat. Despite a chorus of chaos beyond the control of any one person or party,
welcome, everybody. Please come, fill in some seats. I know we have got a lot of folks that.
The One Micronesia Show, Sundays on the stations and digital platforms of KUAM Communications. Join me, Victoria Swan, for one-on-one interviews with Micronesians in our region and around the world doing amazing things and representing our community. Plus,
Of North Dakota, but the same hometown.
We are.
And just, I was telling him backstage that I actually was in the pep band for one of your first state races.
For us, these achievements have not been an aberration, a momentary fluke in the life of an administration. They are the consistent work of our time in office, won by smart fiscal policy and sustained every day by hard choices. Mr. Speaker, it is in this recognition of these facts that I am happy to report Guam is good, but we will not stop until it is better. Make no mistake, I am proud of how far we have come, and I acknowledge all the hard work it took to get there. But while our progress is real, it is not complete. Too many working families are being crushed by inflation and the rising cost of living. Many know they are one missed paycheck away from economic disaster, one bad accident away from bankruptcy. Until this changes, until every family feels the benefits of this growing recovery, until every person in every village has a fair shot at a better life, we have so much work to do. While global inflation is set to have declined since COVID-19, I don't know anyone who feels that right now. Now, the impact of trade wars and the sudden appearance of bird flu means that everything from eggs to construction materials still costs even more than it should. None of us could control last year's oil prices, determine today's monetary policy, or rewrite future trade rules. But we all know that a dollar saved is a dollar earned. For this reason, we worked so that nearly 2,000 families received free or reduced childcare in 2024. We acted so that over 28 million was dispersed in rental assistance, and our stewardship over local tax dollars made it so we could extend the monthly power credit program 6 times, rebating millions back to you, the people, and supporting small businesses with millions in LEAP and other direct aid. Still, we must do more. Guam cannot be better than it is if we do not have an economy that creates jobs and supports small businesses. That's why I was the first governor to decrease business privilege taxes to no more than 3% for nearly 90% of our businesses. But the curse of inflation means businesses can bring in new dollars and they still make less money, all as the value of those dollars decreases. Right now, businesses with revenues of up to $500,000 pay a business privilege tax of 3%. Tonight, I'm calling on this legislature to go further. Let's raise that cap to $1 million. I know there are other tax proposals in this chamber. I respect those ideas. I respect the people who put them forward, but let me be clear about where I stand. I will not support raising the business privilege tax to 4% on small businesses paying 3% today. These businesses are the backbone of our economy and they deserve a break, not another burden. Second, I will not support another tax break for big businesses or federal contractors making millions on Guam. Not when one of the largest corporate tax cuts in recent memory is likely to pass in Washington, D.C. This is bigger than politics. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or somewhere in between, we can agree on this. We should invest in our people, our communities, and the businesses that call Guam home. And those who come here to profit from our growth must be willing to pay their share. Still, we can go further. If you treat the most vulnerable among us, the men, women, and children on Medicaid, every cent of that revenue should be exempt from the business privilege tax. By doing so, we commit new resources to actual treatment, and it may increase the number of medical professionals willing to treat those who need it. I transmitted this bill to you today, Mr. Speaker, and I urge this body to pass it swiftly. Medicaid recipients and those yet to enroll are counting on you. But to truly make Guam better, we can't just cut taxes. We must grow our economy, and that requires the full return of our tourism industry. Our visitors are returning, but not fast enough. Our competitors, Thailand, Vietnam, and Okinawa, are aggressively modernizing marketing and capturing market share, while Guam's recovery remains fragile. We cannot afford to fall behind. Right now, flights to Guam are nearly full. This proves that the demand exists, but to capitalize on it, we must expand airline access. That's why our administration has committed $5 million in airline incentives, because more seats mean more visitors, more spending, and more economic growth. Through a game-changing partnership with Shinhan Card in South Korea, GVB now has direct access to over 35 million cardholders. The results? A 30% increase in spending on Guam. Korean visitors are staying longer and spending more, proof that targeted investments do work. But we must be honest about our challenges. Our tourism product is outdated. If we want to compete, we must modernize Tumon, shift our emphasis to cultural experiences, enhance safety and cleanliness, and elevate Guam to an unforgettable destination. Finally, we need to go big on marketing. If we want to reclaim our market share, we must be bold. We must be strategic and relentless in telling Guam's story where America's day begins. The sharp decline of the Japanese yen and the Korean won against the US dollar has made Guam a more expensive destination for our two largest visitor markets. Compared to pre-pandemic exchange rates, this currency imbalance has hurt our competitiveness. But history tells us that exchange rates do not stay the same forever. Currency cycles shift, and when the yen and won strengthen again, we must be ready. That is why we must invest today, not just to recover, but to ensure that when conditions improve, Guam is the first choice for travelers looking to spend. For this reason, I call on the legislature to step up and take bold action. The hotel occupancy tax bond was one of the smartest investments Guam ever made for tourism infrastructure. It is time to seriously consider a second hot bond or a similar large-scale investment so that we can revitalize our tourism industry and create lasting economic benefits for our island. As we look to take advantage of favorable conditions, we must also change federal policies that wrongfully take advantage of Guam. Thousands of federal employees have visited our island during the buildup, and thousands more federal contractors follow. Many paying a hotel per diem rate lower than Saipan's simply because it had not been federally adjusted in years. Recently, that per diem saw an upward increase of $20. While this is a positive step for which we are thankful, I joined the industry's call to adjust the federal per diem rate for meals, and I ask our federal partners to consider season-based per diem rates like those presently charged in Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. Congressman Moylan, we are certainly happy to receive those working in the interests of the nation. But no one can pay modern wages or survive in the 21st century if they are forced to charge rates from years ago. Let us solve these problems together. As we invest in tourism and modernize our product, we must also cast our eyes to the future. In my meetings in D.C. last month, federal officials assured me that Guam remains on the forefront of national defense in Indo-Pacific. This region has become the world's new center of gravity. Recently, at the Honolulu Defense Forum, Admiral Paparo, commander of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, confirmed that the stakes for our region have never been higher. China's military presence is growing, and tensions are escalating in the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea. Guam's strategic location is vital for our nation's defense initiative. The Department of Defense is making significant investments here. This includes the Guam Defense System and advancement in cybersecurity and biological threat detection. These initiatives support military readiness and aim to create a stable, secure, and prosperous future for our community as a whole. Whether or not these investments stay on track depends on the clarity of that message, and most of all, on the strength of our delegate to Congress, Jim Moylan. As a sitting member of both the Committee on Armed Services and Foreign Affairs, Congressman Moylan, you are our beating heart in the halls of power, and we need your leadership more now than ever. While federal investments has always been vital to our economy, the industries of a better Guam are built on innovation, risk-taking, and new ideas. That is why we launched GITA's Venture Capital Fund, an initiative that empowers entrepreneurs, fuels innovation, and creates new industries to help drive our economy forward. This fund seeded with $57 million in federal grant funding and created in partnership with the Small Business Administration, will unleash the potential of Guam's entrepreneurial spirit. And just last month, we made our inaugural investments totaling $1 million to 2 local businesses for tourism, attraction, and innovative agriculture. But an economy is only as strong as the jobs it creates. It's not just about having work, it's about having the right kind of work. Jobs that pay well, jobs that allow you to breathe from one payday to the next, jobs that allow our people to stay here, raise their families here, and most of all, build a future here. That's why we have made workforce development a top priority. We are not just training for today's jobs, but preparing our people for the jobs of tomorrow, right here in Guam. In partnership with GCC and the Guam Contractors Association, we launched fast-track training programs that get people into jobs quickly, from construction and skilled trades to emerging industries that fuel our economy. We doubled the number of apprenticeships in 2023, and in 2024, we tripled them. These programs aren't just for the unemployed, they're for anyone, high school students, career changers, and experienced workers looking to learn a new skill. No barriers, no red tape, just a pathway to a good job. It's also true that for too long, our brightest young professionals have left for opportunities elsewhere. Navigating Home, a partnership with the National Science Foundation, is reversing that trend, bringing them back to work in public service. Now we're calling on private businesses to step up and be part of this effort. This isn't just about giving people jobs, it's about building a stronger, competitive economy. Businesses that invest in apprenticeship programs have already earned nearly $11 million in tax credits. Next month, the Department of Labor will host another registered apprenticeship program, helping employers tap into these opportunities. And later this year, we will expand on the success of the 2022 Governor's Island-wide Job Fair, where over 2,000 applicants connected with over 90 employers across 14 industries. Following the devastation of Typhoon Mawar in 2023, GURA, driven by data, engaged the federal government and Congressman Moylan for Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery funds to support our long-term recovery efforts. These essential funds will support disaster relief, infrastructure restoration, economic revitalization, and mitigation in our most impacted areas. In January, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development allocated over $500 million to GURA, which will administer these funds toward housing, public facilities such as our new hospital, and more community engagement is vital in this process. This is why GURA will hold town halls across the island next week to gather input. I encourage the public to participate because together we can build a more resilient Guam for the future. We are blessed to live in paradise, but we all know it isn't perfect. Finding an affordable home in Guam has become harder than ever. Rents are climbing, building costs are through the roof. Families who work hard and play by the rules and just want a place to call their home are being priced out. But this is what is happening. Part of it is simple economics. Not enough workers, not enough housing, and shipping costs that keep going up, raising the cost of everything we use to build a home. But there's more to the story. Federal projects are pulling labor away from local construction, slowing down new home building. And though it was not intended, the military's housing subsidies are reshaping the private rental market. Now, don't get me wrong. We support those who rent out their homes and condos to service members. They have every right to do so. But when what DoD pays determines the market rate, it pushes prices beyond the reach of local families. That's not right, and we're going to fix it. First, I'm asking Congressman Moylan for his help. We need more workers. Right now, H-2B workers are tied exclusively to federal contracted work. Congressman, we need you to amend the federal law to include civilian projects. Second, we need to make federal investments work for local families. Billions are flowing into military construction, but none of it is federally set aside for affordable housing. That has to change. We will seek a dedicated portion of those federal dollars to be used to build homes for the working families. Third, we need to fix how military housing allowances are calculated. We must work with our military partners to push for a market-based adjustment so that housing stipends help service members without making it harder for local families to find a place to live. A few generations ago, no one was left without a place to stay. Family, neighbors, friends, someone was always there to lend a hand. That was our way. But times have changed, our economy grew, our communities modernized, and in the pursuit of opportunity, something else grew alongside it, a crisis that too many still refuse to see. Some say the answer to homelessness is getting arrested, the hungry arrested, or chasing them from one street corner to the next. But that doesn't solve the problem. It only pushes suffering further into the shadows. Studies show that one trauma, an illness, a lost job, a moment of crisis can be all it takes to fall into homelessness. And once someone is in that cycle, climbing back out is harder than it seems. That's why we reconstituted the Office of Homelessness Assistance and Poverty Prevention, placing it under the public health to ensure it has the funding and expertise needed to make a difference. We know homelessness is just about getting a job. You can't focus on work if you don't know where you're sleeping at night. Stability comes first. We are expanding shelter options, including transitional housing for women and children, emergency shelters, and daily feeding programs for those in need. Our upcoming Bed at Night shelter will give people a safe place to rest, allowing them to focus on rebuilding their lives. We also recognize that homelessness is tied to deeper challenges: mental health, substance dependency, and domestic violence. We are building more homes and facilities like the Women's Treatment Center, where we had a ribbon cutting just last month to address these deeper challenges. Thanks to the collaboration between GURA, the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, and the Salvation Army Lighthouse Recovery Centers, this has become a reality. We must also recognize the link between homelessness and our long fight against addiction. Over the last year, drug-related arrests and seizures have increased, a direct result of the hard work and dedication of our law enforcement officers. Yet, despite our best efforts, our customs agency seizes 90% of illegal drugs entering Guam through the postal system. A loophole remains there beyond our local authority. This demands action at the federal level. We need greater screening, faster interdiction, and the ability to obtain search warrants when trafficking is suspected. Until these gaps are closed, we are fighting this battle with one hand tied behind our backs. At the same time, we know that a strong public safety system depends on the men and women who serve. Thanks to our retention efforts, we are holding the line, ensuring that our law enforcement agencies remain staffed and ready. But recruitment and retention remain a challenge. If we want the best, the brightest, and the bravest to protect our communities, we must remain competitive every single day. But we cannot stop at arrests. Justice must be served. Despite the tireless efforts of law enforcement officers, our people feel like too many criminal cases are being lost at trial, that too often charges are being dismissed, and that under this Attorney General, more offenders are walking free. We can make arrests, we can seize drugs, we can take violent offenders off the streets, but if prosecutions fall and fail, justice cannot be served. The people of Guam deserve better. They also deserve a better approach to school maintenance. Last year, I deployed the first ever school opening readiness team, a whole of government effort that ensured schools passed public health inspections and opened their doors to our students as quickly and as safely as possible. But let's be honest, passing inspections is just the bare minimum. If we don't address the daily maintenance needs of our campuses, we will continue to see the same failing facilities year after year. That is why I asked your predecessors for that responsibility. Under current law, the elected school board is legally prohibited from interfering in DOE operations. The superintendent lacks the financial means or depth of personnel to address large-scale maintenance. And a law drafted to keep ADLIB out of education now requires the executive branch to keep schools open, making everyone to blame and no one responsible. In my fiscal year 26 executive budget requests, I set aside $8.5 million to maintain our school facilities. At the very least, I asked this legislature to hold the line on that investment. Because if we're serious about education, then we need to be just as serious about the places where education happens. Later this month, we will be issuing an RFP for the construction of the new home of the Sharks. This project will be delivered through a public-private partnership leaseback, the same method used to build Okadu and John F. Kennedy, Astumbu Middle School, Liguan, and Atacao Elementary. Now, I believe this new legislature has a real chance to tackle old problems in innovative ways. Leaders from both parties have talked about reforming not just how the government operates, but how it procures and manages resources. That's not a flashy headline. That won't go viral, but it will make our government better. Senators, send me a comprehensive, modern, and efficient procurement reform that works, and I will sign it. Without that, history has proven that no matter how much money we have, everything from public schools to vital services will waste away under a process riddled by bureaucracy, frivolous protests, and inefficiency. I came to this job in 2019 as a woman, businesswoman by fate, and a nurse by love. For years, through one administration after another, one legislature after another, the struggles at Guam Memorial Hospital have remained the same. Not because anyone wants GMH to fail, not because we lack the will to fix it, but because no institution can survive under the conditions GMH has been forced to operate in, without constant, extraordinary government intervention. And yet, we expect it to function like every other hospital. We expect it to provide the best care, the latest technology, and the strongest facilities. But expectations don't pay the bills, hope doesn't fund new equipment, and words alone don't keep the doors open. The reality is that GMH is underfunded, under-reimbursed, and overburdened. The cost of a hospital bed far exceeds what federal reimbursements cover. Every year, GMH provides millions in uncompensated care to patients who simply just cannot afford to pay. And that financial strain grows heavier and heavier. Still, despite all of this, our people deserve better. They deserve a hospital that meets their needs, that is fully staffed, fully equipped, and built to provide the care they rely on. My predecessor proposed GMH 2.0, asking for major investments in our hospital facilities. Your predecessors told him no. I proposed 3 different sites for a new hospital, and each time, some of your predecessors found a reason to say no. Now, based on politics instead of the law, our AG is also saying no, making claims that facts simply do not support. And as usual, he is wrong. Let me be absolutely clear. We will not lose $104 million in ARP funds committed to this new hospital. No one will be considered a criminal for following federal law. And no legal stunt from the AG will stop us from building the hospital Guam so desperately needs. I know this because while the AG has worked to sabotage this effort, we have been working with the U.S. Treasury Department from day one. Mr. Attorney General, the people of Guam want a new hospital and the Treasury guidelines support its construction. History would judge why you do not. I also want to acknowledge those who have helped this project amid so much unwarranted pressure to do the opposite. The dedicated efforts of GURA, GIDA, Military Liaison Office, Department of Public Works, Guam Water Authority, Guam Power Authority, GMH, Department of Administration, BBMR, Public Health, Department of Land Management, EPA, the Department of Agriculture, Veterans Affairs, and GIBWIC, all working together to bring this project to life amid a series of challenges. Their collaboration ensures that this facility will be modern, accessible, and built to serve generations of Guam residents to come. The people of Guam need this hospital, and we will build it. Some here say a new hospital will not change the way things are run. They say also that we have to reform the way it does business. GMH knows that and has done something about it. An independent consultant has been hired to assess its operations from management to housekeeping, and they will make specific recommendations for improving. This way, change at GMH is guided by best practices, not the best politics. There is one other thing I'd like to address directly tonight. Across the country, in state houses and city halls, governors and mayors are waking up every morning asking the same question: what will Washington do next? Because the truth is, the stability of federal funding, the programs that keep our schools running, our veterans cared for, our families fed, and our hospital open is no longer a given. Education funding, Head Start, special education, food stamps, TANF, Medicaid, Medicare, children's insurance, Social Security, block grants for childcare, programs that help families pay for their water and power bills, and money for vulnerable infrastructure, the very programs that millions rely on, that thousands of our own people rely on, hang in the balance of decisions made from far away, often without a second thought for the consequences we will face. Like you, I worry, and I'm concerned, wondering whether a budget bill, an agency rule change, or a political fight thousands of miles away is about to shake the foundation of these programs that keep our island moving forward. Guam relies on at least $500 million in federal funds per year and nearly 1,000 partially and fully federally funded GovCon workers. If federal funds are cut significantly, we will face one of the toughest budget sessions in our history. But let us be clear about this. Guam cannot be the linchpin of American security in the Asian Pacific if nearly 14,000 of our residents are without shelter because housing aid to Guam is cut, or if 36,000 of our people lose access to Medicaid and Medicare coverage, keeping them healthy, alive, and out of poverty. Delegate Moylan, we are lobbying every contact Guam has in Congress, at the White House, in every agency that makes decisions affecting our people. But you are our lifeline to the federal government. You stand on the floor of Congress. You are in the room during Republican budget caucuses. You have close relationships with the Speaker of the House and the House Majority Caucus Chair. These relationships matter, and we hope you can count on them because Guam is counting on you. While no one can predict what Washington will do, every agency under my direction is monitoring challenges as they occur and working to achieve clarity where it is possible. Last month, I met with Secretary of Veterans Affairs Douglas Collins, who gave me his personal assurance that there will be no cuts to veterans' benefits. To the brave men and women who have so honorably served our nation, your benefits are not up for debate, and I will do everything in my power to ensure they remain protected. And I am not alone. At the 2025 National Governors Association Winter Meeting, I was among 45 governors from across the nation and territories to send a clear message to Congress and the administration. We will not be ignored. We, as federal policies shift, demand action, not excuses. Our resolution makes clear the federal government must honor these commitments, respect state sovereignty, and deliver for the people we serve. We need stronger emergency management, fast permitting, and guaranteed funding for Medicaid, SNAP, and TANF. Now, I know some believe that with the administration now in power, Guam can expect nothing good. But let's set the record straight. From war claims to EITC, we have a clear track record of bipartisan success, and we will work with whoever is willing to work with us. Delegate Moylan, what you do or do not do for Guam in the nation's capital will impact our island for generations. Team Guam is with you. Senators, as I close tonight, know that I look forward to working professionally, diplomatically, and openly with you. Along the way, let us remember that no matter our differences, we are bound together by shared values. We are called together for a common cause, to build a Guam where families thrive with the dignity of a good living, where homes and streets are safe, where every person has the chance to chase their dreams and help others find theirs. A Guam where every working family has the right to rest, relax, and play. Where the boy who sweeps the office floor can work hard enough to become CEO. Where a Chamorro girl can be educated and become governor. That is the promise of this island. In the spirit of Mes Chamorro, Menet Nunhit Tanagwahadzi, we have gathered, so let's provide. God bless you, and God bless Guam. Thank you.
Please remain standing as I call upon Pastor Gerald Baldwin to deliver the benediction.
It is my privilege to talk with God about Guam. Let's pray. He has shown you, O man, what the Lord requires of you, to do justice, to love kindness, and walk humbly with your God. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. God, you command us to pray for all that are in authority, and so we lift our voices tonight to ask for your guidance, your provision, your protection, and God bless Guam. In Jesus, your only Son's name, amen.
Please be seated. Legislative Secretary Salas Matanani.